what would you say was Trailinga Swami's main message?
His main message was a shloka from the Rig Veda. I just thought of that. It says, Tapasya Deva Devata Argo Ayam Taposhi Sharavam Pratishtitam Tasmat Tapa Sreshta. It means Tapasya Deva Devata Argo. Initially, all the gods became gods because of Tapasya. They performed a Tapasya and they became shining ones. Taposhi Sharvam Pratishtitam, all that is created resides in Tapasya. Tasmat, therefore, Tapaha, do your Tapasya. Sreshta, realize the ultimate. And that's what really Trailinga Swami symbolizes to me. The epitome of Tapasya. He did so many different kinds of sadhana and different kinds of tapasya, and he realized the ultimate. He really became a shining one, an illuminated visionary. He was an inspiration to Ramakrishna. He was an inspiration to our entire lineage. And he inspired me to do many things that otherwise I probably would never have undertaken.
I had heard that Ramakrishna, upon seeing Trailinga Swami one time, had said that he was laying there on some hot sand or whatever, and Ramakrishna said a normal person couldn't even stand there, yes. But he's laying there comfortably. Mm-hmm. So has there come a point in Tapasya where you go beyond the experience of all the difficulties and they drop
Absolutely.
away?
There comes a point where you just don't even recognize it anymore. It just doesn't come into your awareness that it's hot, or that it's cold, or that it's something super normal or supernatural, or it's something different. It just becomes the way of life. And you build it, just like building your asana. You have to build an asana. You can't just sit down and say, okay, I'm going to stay here for 5 hours today. No, you got to sit there for 10 minutes, and then 20 minutes, and then an hour, and then 2 hours, and build your asana slowly and gradually. The same way as you reduce your food or your calorie intake, and the same way as you reduce your sleep. Everything is a gradual building of the sadhana. And there comes a point where you don't even notice that I'm doing it. It's not tapasya. It's not austerity. It's just a privilege to lead this way of life. What a minuscule sacrifice we have made in order to enjoy the privilege of sitting in the presence of God. You don't think of it as I'm giving up so much, I'm doing so much, I've got to get this done. No, it's just like a privilege to be able to sit in the present. You don't think about it. If you do think about it, it's not the tapasya that you want. It's a struggle. And you don't want to fight with the elements. You don't want to fight with nature. You want to be one with the nature, one with the harmony. So you build gradually your tolerances for hot and cold and other forms of tapasya.
Swamiji, can work in seva be considered tapasya as long as we have our mindset set that it's an offering to God?
Absolutely.
Some of us have to work.
Trailinga Swami, his dad died he was 8 years old or 7 years old, and I don't remember all the details, but I want to tell you, he said, Mom, Dad's gone, I'm going to go off and do tapasya. And Mom said, who's going to take care of me? You stay here as long as I'm in the body and take care of me, and I promise you blessings that you won't get from finding your guru or doing tapasya. This will be the greatest tapasya that you can do. Trailinga Swami stayed, and his mom died when he was like 56 years old, and he did sadhana for her, and he did seva for her. That was his sadhana. That was all he did, was sadhana. And the sadhana of her seva, he used to chop the wood and carry the water and cook the food and take care of the gardens and the vegetables and whatever he did. He took care of his mom. And when she left her body, He performed her last rites, and he walked off into the forest.
So there's a really great story where a devotee comes to Trailinga Swami, knocks on the door, and he says, "Who's there?" And the devotee says, "Oh, I am," and he doesn't open the door, and then he comes back, and for several days this happens until finally the devotee figures, what's going on, and he knocks on the door, and Trailinga Swami says, "Who's there?" And he says, "You are." And then Trailinga Swami finally opens the door. What's the symbolism, what's the meaning in that story?
Who am I? Who am I? Am I any different from you? As long as it's ego me, I am here knocking on your door, Guru. Hey, get up and open the door, receive me. Why would the Guru get up? Who wants to answer the door for an egotistical jerk? What's the purpose? When a disciple finally realizes that it's you, Guruji, it's the closest reflection that I can project to the greatest being that I have known. The person who wants to exemplify to me what is a pure life, what is a pure mind, what is sadhana, what is tapasya, what does it mean to be one with God? You are there. Guru will always open the door.